Hello everyone, it's Friday once again, so you know what that means. It's time for edition 88 of Artisan Weekly. It's been a really good week for us at Jump 24. We've been busy prepping for Laravel Live UK next week. If you're going along, don't forget to come over and say hello at the booth. We'll be glad to talk all thing Laravel with you. We're really looking forward to it. It's an event that we've gone to now for a number of years. We have some really great conversations with Laravel devs out there, and of course there's some really good speakers this year. So if you haven't got your ticket, you've still got time. It's next Thursday and Friday down at the Shore Theatre in London. So like I said, if you haven't got a ticket, head over and grab one. So anyway, let's get into this week's top 10. So in first place, it's the state of PHP. So JetBrains, they do this yearly survey, and it's quite interesting. So if you've not filled it in before, it's a nice thing to go and fill in, because it kind of gives them some kind of information about, like, we as developers, what we're doing, languages we're using, the tools and things like that. And yeah, there's been some interesting results kind of from the surveys year on year. So if you haven't filled this in yet, I suggest you head on over and help out. In second place then, we've got this article here by Just Steve King. So he's just released an API book that you can download for free. The link here in the post. And this one is basically some tips from the book for building Laravel APIs. Steve knows a lot about APIs. He's built a lot in his time. So there's some really good tidbits in this post and in the book. So I suggest you can go download that and give it a read. It's well worth your time. Next up then, we've got this post by Wendell. Now this one is called Eloquent Query Class Patterns. Now this post, he kind of goes around talking about how to better organize your code, particularly when it comes to Eloquent. You can write queries like this. He says, like, how many times have you opened up a controller and you've seen this kind of query, and it's fine if you can do it once, but if you end up having to do this query several times in different controllers throughout your code, what becomes difficult then if you realize, I've made a mistake and I need to change the minutes to 20 instead of 15. You have to go through all the different various places of the code to change it. So in this post, he talks about creating these query classes that encapsulates that code, makes it easier to maintain and a lot easier to use throughout. And yeah, it's a really nice approach. We have seen it before in a couple of code bases we've taken over, and we have used this kind of approach, but we haven't really called it query classes. But yeah, it's another nice post by Wendell, and another nice pattern to use if you're developing large applications that have a lot of reusable code. Next up then, we've got a post by Dan Harrin over on the Filament blog. Now, Blueprint is a paid for extension that they have for Laravel Boost. It's a great little extension, and the latest version comes with a kind of a security skill. So you can ask it to basically audit the code, your Filament code. Now, this is a really good bit of news, because obviously, Dan, one of the creators of Filament, will have a really good idea of what's good and bad when it comes to writing Filament components and things like that. So for having this kind of skill that exists, and for you to be able to run that and just get a bunch of, hey, you should fix this, you should fix that, it's another really good win for the Filament team and for anyone using Filament. Next up then, we've got a post by Tomas. It's a package here by Tomas for it's called Cognitive Complexity. Now, we've all seen code like this, kind of ifs, else ifs, things like that. And, in small amounts, it works, it's fine. There's nothing difficult for you to remember. But the more that you have to read code like this, as it shows here in the images, the more difficult it gets for you to remember. You have to keep these things in your kind of memory as you're reading through it. So this package works along PHP Stan. And you can set like some levels that you want, and it can go through your code and detect the complexity of it, so how difficult it is to remember as you're reading through it. This is good because obviously the easier it is for you to go through your code and understand what's going on and not go, oh, well, I made this call and then I make this call, then I make that call, then I make this call to do this thing. The easier it is going to be able to follow it, maintain it, and easier for other developers then to come on board. So it's another really good, interesting PHP Stan extension that you can use. And yeah, it'd be quite interesting to see the kind of results that come up from using this on your code bases. Next up then, we've got this post here. Now this is called Laravel Collections. It was a bug that was recently shown that was happening because of arrow functions. It was a bug that was raised by Frick, and this post basically goes into a little bit of detail of, why that bug happened. You can see that this code here triggered the issue. So, but then after the fix that was put in, this was the fix, and everything worked fine. And you can look at them and think, well, they both do pretty much the same thing, don't they? They look, this is using, arrow functions instead of this, each with the code inside it like that. And yeah, it's interesting because again, you read it, you might look at it the first time and go, well, they're both the same. They look the same to me. Why would one cause a bug and one not? And yeah, the breakdown is really nice and explains it very well. So yeah, another really good post to just give you a little bit, tidbits into the things that could go wrong using some of these newer PHP functions. Next up then, a post by Leonardo. So he has basically gone through the 699 emails that he had from Larajobs, and he used AI to basically see what those kind of posts, those jobs, those emails he was getting is saying about the market right now, particularly when it comes to Laravel. It's an interesting one because obviously, you might be thinking, well, there isn't much work out there, or there used to be a lot more work than there is right now. And having this kind of data that he's got, 3 years worth of like these notifications that Larajobs would send you every time they had a Laravel email, Laravel role appear. It's allowed him to then put together this data set and to work through it and pull out extract some information that is quite interesting. You might be thinking to yourself, well, the market isn't great right now, and this kind of gives you a kind of an answer. Obviously this is a small, it's only, like it says there, it's only 699 emails, so it's a smaller subset, but it's an interesting approach to what he's done here, and to get that kind of the data out is quite interesting. Next up then, we've got this post by Jordan. Now Jordan talks about building a Ralph loop with the Laravel AI SDK. Now the Ralph loop has been, I say, around for a while. I mean, it's not a while, but it was a bit of a craze when it came to the AI space over the last 6 months. The Ralph Wiggins loop, and everyone was using it. So this post goes into how you can actually do that with the Laravel AI SDK. So it's the first time I've seen anyone do it with the SDK. So it's quite interesting. Most of the times I've seen it, I've been like bash scripts or something like that performs the loop for you. So yeah, if you're using the SDK and you've wondered about how to do this, go and head over and check out this post. Yeah. Next up then, we've got the video here over on the Artisan Build YouTube channel, and it goes into the PHP internals, things that are going on right now. So we kind of discuss the generics RFC that's happening, and a few other bits and pieces. So it gives a really nice breakdown and a bit more information about what's going on outside of the RFC. So it's not just what's on the RFC itself, but comments and things like that from the rest of the PHP world. And then finally, we've got Ashley's video. So his that he just did for PHPverse, which was on Wednesday, I believe, if I get that right. Yeah. So this is the first video that's gone up. So obviously there's going to be a lot more because there's obviously a lot more speakers. But this one, Ashley worked at Laravel, and now he is working on his own startup called Fuel. So he has a lot of experience with AI. He helped build Laravel Boost and various other things. So it's quite nice to see, how he's using AI, things he does, the way he codes with it, and all that. So it's a video worth watching. If you're using AI, with Laravel day to day, or if you're thinking about it, check out how Ashley's doing that. It's well worth a watch. So that's it for this week. There's been 10 good posts there. Hopefully there's something that you have enjoyed reading or watching. Don't forget, if you did, reach out to those people. Reach out to them and give them a big thanks. Hopefully, some of them you might get to see at Laravel Live UK if you're there this week coming up. If you enjoyed this content, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. And obviously we have a newsletter that goes out every Friday. If you sign up to that, you can get this into your inbox Friday morning. So yeah, that's it for me this week, and hopefully I shall see you again next week.